On June 12th, SpaceX completed its initial public offering, or IPO, issuing stock to the public at $135 per share under the ticker SPCX. You can now purchase stock in SpaceX. This IPO gives the company a $2.1 trillion valuation and makes Elon Musk the richest man in the world. I've been shocked at the poor news coverage of this IPO.
As of Friday, you had how much in shares of SpaceX?
$24 billion. I think we're going to make hundreds of billions of dollars, but hundreds.
You know, what is your kind of longer term position on SpaceX?
I mean, look, for me on a personal level, and I say this as someone, I think I understand this business very well, like better than, most investors, better than almost any investor. I am personally going to hold my shares in this company forever. Like, quite literally. This is the biggest vision, the biggest mission of any company in history, going after the biggest markets of any company in history.
Let's continue to talk SpaceX. It's only the fourth day of trading. It's added $1 trillion in market cap since Friday. It is currently the fifth largest company in the world, almost the fourth if it overtakes Microsoft, only like a measly $100 billion away.
It has all been hype. I'm going to be explaining what is really going on with SpaceX. Let me first start with a disclaimer. Investing is risky. You can lose all or in some cases more than your initial investment. It is recommended that you talk to a financial professional. For full disclosure, I do not own any Tesla or SpaceX securities. This is my independent analysis. Let me start by saying that SpaceX is an impressive company. They have accomplished incredible things. This video is not about whether SpaceX is a good company or whether I like Elon Musk. This video is about whether you should buy SpaceX stock. That is a very different question. You have to consider that if you purchase SpaceX stock at the current price, will you make money? Let us compare SpaceX with another space company that issued stock, Virgin Galactic. SpaceX ticker is SPCX, Virgin Galactic is SPCE. Virgin Galactic stock was first issued to the public on October 28, 2019. This is the price when Virgin Galactic stock was issued. This is where it is now. You would have lost almost all of your money. Let us look at another example. A lot of people are thinking of SpaceX as a technology company. A common technology stock that most people think about is Apple, ticker AAPL. If you own Apple stock, it has been hugely successful. Steve Jobs announced the iPhone in January 2007. If you had purchased stock then and sold it today, you would have made a return of around 11,500%. That is a good stock purchase. My word of caution is do not think that SpaceX is the same thing as Apple. They are two very different business models. I know that some people are thinking, Apple stock did really well, therefore SpaceX must be a good investment. That is not necessarily true. Let us look at another example. This is Tesla stock, ticker TSLA. On the chart for the last 5 years, we see the price goes up and down and up and down. This is not really what you want to see in a technology stock. Depending on when you buy and sell, you may not make any money at all. Now compare that to another technology company, Applied Materials, ticker AMAT. Applied Materials makes computer chips. Now, Applied Materials is a more boring company than SpaceX or Tesla, but this is an outstanding stock chart. For the last 5 years, this is going up, up, up. That's what you want to see. This has largely been driven by the increased demand for computer chips from AI technologies. The stock has gone up 300%. You would have tripled your money. So 5 years ago, if you had the choice to invest in Tesla or Applied Materials, and you decided to invest in Tesla, you would have made the wrong decision. Investors should consider opportunity cost, whether they can make more money in other investments. That is the question we are asking with SpaceX stock. SpaceX is divided into 3 different segments. You have space, which includes the rocket launches that most people are familiar with. Then we have Starlink, which is their satellites which provide internet. And then we have their new AI division, which includes their AI model, Grok. X.com, formerly Twitter, is now also a part of SpaceX and has been integrated with Grok. I'm going to quickly show you the financials. In the space segment, they generally do not make any money. With Starlink, they've made $4.4 billion in income, which has been growing every year. With AI, they have been operating at a loss because they've been making so many new investments. Just looking at the financials themselves, there's nothing compelling that is telling me this is a money-making operation. If Starlink is making $4.4 billion, that sounds like a lot of money, but it's not really. If SpaceX is worth $1.75 trillion, but Starlink is the only segment producing income at $4.4 billion, that's not very good. The optimistic argument is that total SpaceX revenue increased 33% year over year to $18 billion in 2025. However, they still have a net income loss of negative $4.9 billion. I would argue that for a company worth $1.75 trillion, you would expect them to be making more money than this. So what is going on here? People are investing in SpaceX because they believe that there's a lot of money-making potential in the future. They're not making much money now, but people are betting on the future and that money will flow back to investors. Let me show you what they claim they're going to do. Point-to-point terrestrial travel, in-orbit manufacturing, energy production and manufacturing on Mars, passenger and cargo transport to Mars, asteroid mining, lunar manufacturing, and transport. All these things are wonderful. But the only question I'm concerned about as an investor is, how am I going to get my money? Are any of these things going to happen in the next 10 years? I don't think so. If the future SpaceX Mars colony operation is not going to be generating revenue for another 50 years, you could be spending those 50 years investing in companies that are actually generating money today. So if I invest in SpaceX today, how am I going to get my money? I would consider SpaceX as a high-risk investment. This is not your typical technology company. That is what I think a lot of people do not understand. There is a lot of risk here of things not working out and you not getting your money back. Let us look a little closer at some of the details. If we go to the registration statement for the IPO, if you go to page 12, they're talking about the risks of their business and they say the following. Our growth strategy depends on our ability to increase our launch cadence and payload capacity, which is dependent on the successful development of Starship at scale. In my opinion, this statement is a lie. They are talking about this chart here. They are showing how many missions they have launched, which has increased dramatically year over year, with 165 launches in 2025. Their growth strategy depends on this line continuing to go up. And they are saying, our growth strategy depends on our ability to increase our launch cadence. They are claiming that they are in control of increasing this number, and that is misleading. When SpaceX launches a rocket, there are so many factors that are completely outside their control. As an example, SpaceX launches from two locations, Cape Canaveral in Florida and Vandenberg in California. The launches from California are different from Florida because they are polar sun-synchronous orbits. SpaceX also has a facility in Texas, where they have done a handful of smaller test launches. Most of their launches are from Cape Canaveral. Cape Canaveral for the whole year had a total of 109 orbital launches. Almost all of these were SpaceX. Florida claims they can increase this number to 300 to 500 launches by 2030. But I find that very doubtful. Florida has 200 to 250 days a year with good weather. It takes multiple days to set up a launch, and a lot of times it gets scrubbed and they have to postpone it. They don't even have the launch pads and hangars they would need to reach this capacity. On top of this, every time that a rocket launches out of Florida, the FAA shuts down the airspace for the airlines for 3 hours. Meaning, if you're trying to fly from New York to Miami, you're going to have to wait. This has started a furious battle with the airlines who are getting tired of increased delays from SpaceX. My point is that I believe that SpaceX is quickly running into the limit of the amount of rockets they can launch, and it is completely outside their control. They explain this later under risk factors, saying, "A critical part of our growth strategy involves increasing our launch cadence. This will require the construction of additional facilities and securing of additional launch sites." Now, in the registration statement, they do not provide a forecast of their expected launch cadence. They tell us that their strategy depends on them increasing their launches, but they do not tell us what they expect their launch numbers to be. We do have some idea, though. In an article last month on May 20th, 2026, SpaceX President Gwynne Shotwell said that their goal is to reach 10,000 launches annually within 5 years. They are planning on doing multiple launches a day. For me personally, when I hear that, I'm rolling my eyes. I just told you that Florida's fanciful prediction is 300 to 500 launches by 2030. So where are these 10,000 launches coming from? This is something SpaceX has no control over. How long is the FAA going to shut down air travel for 10,000 launches? Are we just not going to travel in airplanes anymore so that SpaceX can launch their rockets? I don't think so. And I hope this stock valuation is not based on this crazy 10,000 launches per year, because I think that's unrealistic. I think SpaceX is lying by omission by not including this information in their registration documents. It is extremely misleading for them to claim their strategy is based on their ability to increase their launch cadence. Their internal strategy is based on 10,000 launches per year, and they know that the current facilities in Florida cannot handle that capacity. They know that, and they're not telling you that in the registration documents. I think that is a lie. This is my personal opinion, and this is my channel, so I can share my opinion. Now, I have a personal rule when it comes to stock investing. Do not purchase stock of a company that lies to you. I just have to say something else. The investment banks that were involved in this IPO should be ashamed of themselves. Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, Bank of America, Citigroup, and JP Morgan, you should be ashamed of yourselves. It is your job to do due diligence. Did any of you ask the question, how are you going to achieve your projected launch cadence when there is limited capacity to launch from Florida? How are they going to go from 165 launches per year to 10,000? How is that going to happen? That seems like a pretty simple question the investment bankers should have got an answer to before issuing this stock. The next big question to understand is, why is this happening now? SpaceX has been a company for 24 years. Why are they issuing an IPO now? Typically what happens is a business will pursue a business opportunity and they need to raise cash for things like expansion or building a new plant. You are giving away part of your company in exchange for cash to continue to grow the business. The current story with SpaceX is that they are trying to win the AI race. It costs a lot of money to build these new data centers, and SpaceX is trying to compete. Here is a slide that SpaceX has been presenting to their investors. This shows potential market opportunity. We see the 3 segments: space, connectivity, and AI. Out of the 3 segments, they see AI as the largest potential opportunity. This is how they view their own strategy. They are showing enterprise applications as a $22.7 trillion market. Just to be clear, this is not currently a market they have. This is an opportunity they plan to go after with the money they raise from issuing the stock. Their idea is this: Earth will not be able to provide all the power and water for cooling all these new AI data centers. SpaceX wants to create AI data centers in space. You don't have to cool them, and you can use solar power from the sun. Now, there are a lot of technical problems with this idea. I'm not convinced it's going to make any money. But I'm not going to try and tear down or make fun of their idea. I think it is visionary, and I think they should go for it, and I hope that they succeed. But I want you to understand what you are investing in. They are taking your money for a very risky, unproven idea of putting AI in space. You have to also remember that no AI companies are currently profitable. No one has figured out yet how to make money with AI. The general idea is that it will be similar to Facebook and Google, where you will be able to make money by selling user information and selling advertising. But SpaceX has a unique problem with this business model. SpaceX owns X.com, which has a lot of pornography. If you've ever used X.com, you know there are a lot of sexually explicit images. This is different from Facebook or what Google does with YouTube, where they do not allow sexually explicit images. Now, I'm not trying to shame SpaceX. They can do whatever they want. If they want to run a pornography website, that is fine. But you as an investor need to be aware that when you buy SpaceX stock, you are investing in pornography. This is going to be a hurdle for SpaceX because companies do not want to advertise their products on pornography websites. It reflects on the entire company. SpaceX might as well paint naked women on the sides of their rockets. If I could give only one piece of advice to Elon Musk, it would be this. Take pornography off X.com. If SpaceX wants to run a porn website, they should set up a completely separate website for that. Then X.com would become more attractive to potential advertisers. I do not want to be completely negative here. I use AI a lot, and I've tried all the different major AI companies. In my opinion, the AI model SpaceX has created, Grok, is the best. The biggest problem with AI is that it lies a lot. It will tell you what it thinks you want to hear rather than the truth. SpaceX has tried to overcome this problem by building their AI model with a truth-seeking approach. This is very different from every other AI company, and I think it is a source of competitive advantage. But SpaceX stock gets even riskier, because there is another problem. SpaceX has a lot of debt. If we look at their financial statements, in 2025, SpaceX had almost $22 billion in debt. Their interest expense in 2025 was almost $2 billion. For a company that has consistently shown a loss from operations, this is a huge red flag. If we look in the footnotes, the majority of this debt is in the form of the SpaceX bridge loan. This is a $20 billion loan that matures on September 2nd, 2027. The IPO raised $75 billion in cash. $20 billion of that goes to paying off this debt. That is a bad sign. You would want this money to be invested back into the company, not paying off old loans. When you have a company with a lot of debt, it makes it even more risky. Keep in mind that if something bad happens, the bankers holding the debt get paid first. Let's say that SpaceX somehow does not achieve their goal of 10,000 launches per year in 5 years, and that causes them to default on their massive debt payments. They will go bankrupt. With a business this large, the business does not end, it just gets restructured. This means that anyone holding stock gets wiped out in order to pay the bankers. So for people purchasing the stock, it makes it very risky that SpaceX is holding so much debt. We also have to consider the elephant in the room, Elon Musk. With this IPO, Elon Musk controls 85% of SpaceX voting power. If you are a stockholder, you are very much at the whim of whatever Elon Musk wants to do. This company is driven by this one person, and that creates another risk. A large portion of SpaceX revenue is from government contracts. So if Elon Musk gets in another fight with President Trump, Trump could start canceling their contracts and put the company at risk. There have been rumors that Elon Musk does drugs.
So is that a joint? Or is it a cigar?
No,
Okay.
it's marijuana
it's
inside
weed.
of tobacco.
Oh, okay. So it's like pot tobacco
Yeah,
posh.
you never had that?
Yeah, I think I tried one once.
Come on, man. You want some of that? You probably can't because stockholders, right?
I mean, it's legal, right?
It's totally legal.
Okay.
How does that work? Do people get upset at you if you do certain things? There's tobacco and marijuana in there. That's all it is. The combination of tobacco and marijuana is wonderful.
I do not know if the rumors about the drugs are true, but Elon Musk has been known to have erratic behavior. And we have to remember this phone call that Elon Musk did with Tesla investors in 2018.
Boring bonehead questions are not cool. Next. Sorry. These questions are so dry. They're killing me. And the media fails to mention that actually they shouldn't really be writing the story. They should be writing a story about how autonomous cars are really safe. Even if electric cars were, if autonomous cars were 10 times safer, so that instead of 1 million deaths, you had 100,000 deaths, there's still going to be, people who will still sue and say, hey, you're responsible for the death here. And it's like, well, the 90% of people who didn't die are not suing. They're still alive. They just don't know it. We have no interest in satisfying the desires of day traders. Like, couldn't care less. Please sell our stock and don't buy it. I think that if people are concerned about volatility, they should definitely not buy our stock. I am not here to convince you to buy our stock. Do not buy it if volatility is scary. There you go.
As an investor, you have to ask the question, is this someone you can trust to make you money? Or is he going to take your money and do whatever he wants with it? To summarize all of this, SpaceX stock has a lot of risk that they're not telling you about on the news. I'm not telling you that you should or should not buy SpaceX stock. If you are looking for a risky stock, this might be right for you. But in my opinion, SpaceX stock is too risky for most people's portfolio. Personally, my fear is that it will be similar to Tesla stock, where it will go up and down, and ultimately you will never make any money. There are a lot of other investments out there that may be more boring than SpaceX, but they are actually better investments. Now I want to hear from you. What do you think about SpaceX? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you like this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future videos. If you want to support independent journalism like this channel, consider signing up for a membership on my website, wolvesandfinance.com. For $6 a month, your support helps me to keep making these videos. Thank you to everyone who has signed up. I'm Zach from Wolves and Finance. Thank you for watching.